A new year always brings new beginnings, new hopes, new dreams. But for some people, 2026 didn't start with hope. It started with fear. Because what they experienced in the first days of the year was something they would never forget. Tonight, you will hear 3 true stories that turned the start of 2026 into a living nightmare. Turn off the lights. Put on your headphones, and remember, some years don't begin with fireworks. They begin with screams. Story 1. The Last Elevator Ride. January 2nd, 2026. The city was silent. Most people were still on holiday, but Ethan, a 24-year-old junior accountant, stayed late at the office. He wanted to impress his boss. The building was almost empty, lights dim, hallways quiet. When Ethan walked toward the elevator, the night security guard looked at him strangely. "Working late?" the guard asked. Ethan nodded. The guard hesitated. "Try not to use the elevator alone tonight." Ethan laughed, thinking it was a joke, but the guard didn't smile. At 11:47 p.m., Ethan pressed the elevator button. The doors opened slowly. Inside, the lights were weak, and the mirror was scratched like something had clawed it. The doors closed. The elevator started moving, then suddenly jerked and stopped between floors. The lights flickered. Ethan checked his phone. No signal. He pressed the emergency button. Nothing happened. Then the floor panel lit up by itself. 13. Ethan whispered, "There is no 13th floor." The elevator started moving again, but it didn't feel like it was going up. It felt like it was going deeper. The air grew cold. The lights turned red. A low humming sound filled the cabin. The doors opened. Ethan was no longer in his office building. He was standing in a long hallway with no windows, no exit signs, only endless doors. Every door had the number 13. Behind him, the elevator was gone, replaced by a solid wall. The hallway smelled old, like dust, rust, and something rotten. Ethan walked forward. His footsteps echoed too loudly. He tried opening a door. Locked. All of them were locked. Then he heard footsteps, slow, heavy, coming from the end of the hallway. A tall figure appeared. It had no face, no eyes, only darkness where its features should be. Its voice was broken and deep. "You shouldn't have come back." Ethan ran. The hallway stretched unnaturally, the doors never ending. The lights turned off one by one. The footsteps followed him, getting closer. His breathing grew heavier. His chest burned. He tripped, fell, and everything went black. The next morning, Ethan never showed up for work. His phone was found inside the elevator. Security footage showed Ethan entering, the doors closing, and then nothing. But at 3:13 a.m., the elevator stopped and the doors opened. No one came out. Only a dark shadow was visible inside, standing still, watching the camera. To this day, the elevator sometimes stops at floor 13, even though it does not exist. Story 2. The New Year Guest. New Year's Eve, 2025, was supposed to be a fresh start for Maya and Lucas. They had just moved into their new house in a quiet neighborhood, and this was their first New Year together there. The plan was simple: invite a few friends, play music, watch the fireworks, and welcome 2026 with hope. The house was warm, the lights were bright, and laughter filled every room. At 11:58 p.m., everyone gathered in the living room, counting down. 3, 2, 1. Fireworks exploded outside, and cheers echoed through the house. But just seconds after midnight, there was a loud knock on the front door. The sound was sharp, heavy, and unexpected. Everyone went silent. Lucas frowned. "Who would come at this hour?" he asked. Maya shrugged. "Maybe one of your friends?" Lucas opened the door. A man stood outside in the rain. His clothes were soaked, his feet were bare, and his eyes looked empty, almost lifeless. He didn't smile. He didn't shiver. He simply said, "I was invited." Lucas hesitated. None of them recognized him, but the cold rain made them feel bad for him. Maya whispered, "Just let him in for a moment." The man stepped inside. Water dripped from his clothes onto the floor. But strangely, he didn't leave any footprints. He didn't thank them. He didn't introduce himself. He just walked slowly into the living room and stood near the wall, watching the clock. The party continued, but the mood had changed. The man didn't eat, didn't drink, and didn't speak. Whenever someone tried to talk to him, he only stared. His eyes never blinked. Maya began to feel uncomfortable. She whispered to Lucas, "There's something wrong with him." Lucas nodded, but didn't want to cause a scene. At exactly 12:07 a.m., the lights in the house suddenly went out. The music stopped. The room was filled with darkness. In the silence, everyone heard whispering. It sounded like multiple voices speaking at once, but the words were unclear. Maya grabbed Lucas's arm. "Do you hear that?" she whispered. Before Lucas could answer, the lights flickered back on. The room looked normal again, but the strange man was gone. The front door was still locked. No windows were open, and Maya was missing. Panic exploded. Friends searched every room, every closet, every corner of the house. Maya was nowhere. The police were called. Officers searched the property and questioned everyone. In the basement, they found something disturbing written on the wall in dark, scratched letters. "He always takes one." No fingerprints, no evidence, no sign of Maya. Weeks passed, then months. Maya was never found. Lucas couldn't move on. Every New Year's Eve after that, he stayed alone in the house with all the lights on. He never invited anyone again. But at exactly 12:07 a.m., he still heard knocking at the door. And when he checked, no one was ever there. Story 3. The 2026 Challenge. In January 2026, a dangerous social media trend went viral. It was called the 2026 Challenge. The rules were simple. Go to an abandoned place, stay for 30 minutes, record everything, and never turn off the camera. People all over the world were doing it for views and likes. 3 friends, Ryan, Mark, and Jason, decided to try it too. They chose an old, abandoned hospital outside their town. The building had been closed for over 20 years. Locals said strange things happened there at night, but the boys didn't believe in ghost stories. At 1:50 a.m., they parked their car near the broken gate and started recording. The hospital stood tall and silent, its windows dark like empty eyes. At 2 a.m., they entered. The air inside was freezing. The hallways were long and narrow, and every sound echoed. Their footsteps sounded too loud, as if the building itself was listening. At first, they laughed, joking about ghosts. But the deeper they went, the quieter they became. At 2:17 a.m., their camera picked up the sound of footsteps behind them. They turned around. No one was there. A door slammed shut in the distance. The lights flickered. Mark whispered, "This place is messed up." Suddenly, a wheelchair rolled across the hallway by itself. Jason's voice shook as he said, "Okay, that's not funny anymore." Then a voice echoed through the building, "You accepted the challenge." The boys froze. The voice didn't sound human. It was deep, distorted, and seemed to come from everywhere at once. Doors began to close on their own. Windows shattered. The camera kept recording as the boys ran through the dark hallways, screaming for help. At 2:30 a.m., the live stream suddenly cut off. The next morning, police searched the hospital. They found the boys' camera lying in the main hallway, still recording. The video showed empty corridors and strange shadows moving on the walls. The boys were never found. On the final frame of the footage, words appeared on the screen. Challenge completed. The hospital was sealed forever after that. But the challenge still exists online, waiting for the next victims. A new year doesn't always bring happiness. Sometimes it brings horror. This is Dreadora, and 2026 has only just begun. If you survived these stories, like the video, subscribe to Dreadora, and comment 2026 is cursed below.